Greetings, everyone. Welcome to our presentation on the Human Resources Consultation for Atlanta Public Schools. Over the next few minutes, we'll walk you through the findings and our recommendations to improve the district's HR practices. My name is Elisa Holder. This HR consultation audit project was completed by a team of master-level graduate students at Clayton State University College of Business. I would like to introduce you now to the team members who contributed to this work. Delicia Hurd, Hussein Issa, Christian Johnson, Kashay Jones, and myself. Together, we combined our research, interviews, and analysis to bring you the insights you'll see today. Let's start by grounding ourselves in the mission of Atlanta Public Schools Human Resource Division. Their mission centers on two core ideas: reimagining talent and empowering excellence. Through a culture of innovation, collaboration, and continuous learning, APS is embracing a reimagined approach to attracting, developing, and empowering exceptional talent across the district. By prioritizing talent acquisition, comprehensive development programs, and effective performance management, they aim to equip their people to excel in service to their scholars and to their community. This mission is the foundation we kept in mind throughout our consultation. Every recommendation that we make is designed to support these same goals. Building on the mission statement, Atlanta Public Schools' vision follows an if-then framework for how they approach educator support. If APS partners with schools to recruit and hire the best educators, develop and support their educators, and retain highly effective educators, then great educators will grow in their professional practice and serve students at an increasingly high level. In other words, the vision ties strong HR practices directly to stronger outcomes for teachers, administrative support, and ultimately for the students.
Atlanta Public Schools' HR strategic plan is built around 5 focused areas. These include caring for every child, sparking student curiosity, recognizing that responsibility is shared, building strong teams, and creating systems that are both efficient and effective. For our consultation, we focus mainly on the last 2 areas. A strong team depends on employees feeling valued and treated fairly, while an effective system requires consistent and transparent HR practices. When employees are confused about compensation and believe pay decisions are unfair, it can reduce trust and affect employees' retention. Needs assessment identified several concerns with the current compensation process. Employees reported perceived salary inequities, inconsistent recognition of prior work experience, and limited communication about how salary placement decisions are made. These issues have reduced employee trust and may increase turnover or even create legal risk if employees believe compensation practices are inconsistent. Our goal is to help APS create a compensation process that is fair, transparent, and consistent. Improving communication and ensuring employees understand how salary decisions are made can strengthen engagement, increase retention, and build confidence in HR practices. Better understand the issue, we collected information from several different sources. We reviewed the APS Human Resources Policy Manual to understand the district's official compensation and salary administration policies. We also examined the APS career website to review publicly available salary schedules, benefits information, and hiring practices. In addition, we interviewed 2 employees who shared their personal experiences with salary, placement, and compensation concerns. Using multiple sources allowed us to compare official policies with employees' real experiences and identify where communication gaps exist. Finally, we interviewed an HR representative to gain insight into how compensation decisions are made and the challenges that the department has experienced. Interviews revealed several consistent patterns. Employees often expected all of their previous work experience to count towards salary placement, but APS only credits experience that meets specific equivalency requirements based on job titles, descriptions, and documented responsibilities. As a result, many employees were surprised by their salary placement and believed they were being treated unfairly. We also found that communication about these policies were often unclear, especially during onboarding and reclassification. Even when compensation decisions followed existing policies, employees frequently did not understand how those decisions were made. The communication gap has contributed to concerns about pay equity, reduced trust in the HR process, and lower employee morale.
Hello, my name is Hussein Isa. We're talking about the human resources issues identified. So, first of all, our analysis identified several important HR issues related to compensation practices. The most significant concern is the perception of pay inequity, where employees with similar responsibilities receive different levels of compensation. Employees also report inconsistent credit for prior professional experience during the hiring process. Limited transparency regarding salary placement creates confusion and decreases trust in leadership. Research also shows that when employees believe compensation decisions are unfair, organizations experience lower engagement, higher turnover, and increased legal risk related to pay equity and Equal Pay Act compliance. Addressing these issues is essential for maintaining a motivated and high-performing workforce. Next slide, we go to the strategic HR recommendations. To address these issues, several strategic HR initiatives are recommended. First, compensation policies should become more transparent so employees understand how salaries are determined. Standardizing the verification of prior experience will improve consistency and fairness. Regular pay equity audits can proactively identify disparities before they become larger problems. Improved communication between HR and employees will increase trust, while clearly defined career progression opportunities help employees understand how they can advance. Finally, managers should receive training on equitable compensation practices to ensure consistent decision making throughout the organization. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Cashay Jones. And for recommendation number one, our first recommendation addresses the communication gap during onboarding. Our findings show that employees often misunderstood how APS evaluates prior experience for salary placement. Jordan and Jamie expected more of their previous work experience to count towards salary compensation. But the salary compensation followed the criteria based on verified and equivalent work experience. By providing an improved, clarifying work experience requirements prior to employees accepting positions, APS can better align expectations, reduce confusion, and strengthen trust. This connects to the psychological contract theory, which highlights the importance of managing employee expectations through clear communication.
Our second recommendation focuses on internal pay equity and reclassification. A key finding from our HR executive interview was that an employee moved into a higher level position but received lower pay because her experience did not support the same salary placement. This created a pay equity concern. APS should strengthen the reclassification process by reviewing salary impacts before decisions are finalized and clearly explaining outcomes. This supports organizational justice theory, which emphasizes that employees evaluate both the fairness of the outcomes and the fairness of the process. During our research, we determined that employees view unclear pay decisions as unfair, and multiple complaints have reduced confidence in the HR process. Some solutions we discovered were to create formal feedback channels, offer compensation information sessions, establish clear escalation pathways, be transparent about pay practices, use consistent and objective standards, encourage open communication, train managers to discuss pay effectively, and we recommend businesses conduct regular pay equity reviews and recognize employee contributions. We expect the impact of these changes to align directly with the psychological safety theory of open communication, trust and respect, learning from mistakes, inclusive participation, and supportive leadership. By implementing these changes, we hope to build psychological safety and trust in compensation decisions, create a more transparent, fair, and supportive workplace where employees feel more comfortable asking questions, expressing concerns, and discussing compensation without fear of retaliation or judgment. We also expect increased employee engagement and job satisfaction, improved morale and stronger workplace relationships, reduced misunderstandings and complaints about compensation decisions, higher employee retention, increased motivation and productivity, and a stronger organizational culture.
For the implementation timeline, we recommend a 1 year, 3 phase implementation approach. This approach will be over the duration of 12 months. The first phase focuses on improving communication by updating onboarding resources and compensation material in the first 3 months. The second phase is to strengthening pay practices through reclassification reviews and HR training. This will be the 3rd through 6th month. The final phase will take place the 6th through 12th month and focuses on building trust through feedback opportunities and evaluating employee perception. This approach allows APS to make sustainable improvements while minimizing disruption. I know you're wondering how these recommendations may impact the APS system. These recommendations are designed to improve the employee experience and strengthen HR effectiveness. Employees will have a greater clarification around compensation decisions and increase confidence in the process. HR will benefit from improved consistency, stronger documentation, and fewer repeated concerns. Ultimately, these changes support APS's goals of equality, effective systems, and strong teams by creating a more transparent and trusted compensation environment.
We began this consultation by anchoring our work in Atlanta Public School System's mission and vision, reimagining talent and empowering excellence through more effective hiring, employee development, and retention of educators and support staff. Every recommendation presented today is directly aligned with that guiding purpose. Team member Delicia Hurd was aware of the existing human resource challenge that was impacting multiple departments at APS. She was the point of contact for our interviews. Our needs assessment identified several critical areas of concern. Insufficient communication during onboarding regarding how salary placement decisions are made, perceived inequities in salary determination, inconsistent recognition of prior professional experience, and erosion of employee trust that was exposing the district to elevated turnover and potential legal risks. Subsequent data collections substantiated these concerns. 3 root issues emerged: a communication gap during the onboarding process, persistent pay equity and reclassification challenges, and a broader deficit in psychological safety and trust surrounding how compensation decisions are determined and communicated. In addition to the interviews and an examination of APS internal documents, we evaluated research in peer-reviewed articles to inform evidence-based recommendations. The findings directly impacted our three core recommendations. First, enhance compensation communication during onboarding. This will ensure employees understand how their prior experience will be credited before accepting an offer. Second, strengthen internal pay equity and reclassification practices. This will ensure that compensation decisions are systematically reviewed and clearly explained rather than unilaterally issued. Third, cultivate psychological safety and trust around compensation by establishing meaningful feedback mechanisms and transparent escalation pathways for employee concerns. What organizational impact can APS expect upon implementation of these recommendations? The answer is a realignment with Atlanta Public Schools' strategic plan. For employees, the benefit is immediate and personal. Employees gain a clearer understanding of how compensation decisions are reached, and this transparency fosters greater trust and stronger engagement. When individuals understand the rationale behind a decision, they are considerably more likely to accept it, even when the outcome is not what they hoped for. For the Human Resources Department, the impact is operational. Consistent, well-documented processes reduce the volume of compensation-related complaints. This will free HR capacity to focus on the strategic initiatives rather than be reactive to dispute resolution. At the organizational level, APS reinforces its existing commitments to equity, operational effectiveness, and workforce strength. They constitute a direct investment in achieving it. These recommendations do not depart from the district's mission. In summary, implementation of these recommendations will yield benefits beyond the entire system, from the individual classroom to the district office. This is the case for moving forward, and it is what we are asking APS to do.